On the evening of June 14th, the White House in Washington was buzzing. For the first time ever, a massive UFC octagon was moved into the presidential residence. This day was President Trump's 80th birthday and a grand celebration of America's 250th anniversary. Dignitaries gathered, business titans appeared, and over 80,000 patriots shouted, "America first!" However, behind this vibrant sea of red, white, and blue flags, the shadow of death was already quietly closing in. This is not an exaggeration. According to a bombshell indictment unsealed by the Justice Department yesterday, that night several suicide drones laden with military explosives had targeted the crowd, and snipers in the shadows had quietly flicked off their safeties. A terrorist plot aimed at eliminating core Trump administration members and causing a massacre of tens of thousands almost turned the White House into a bloodbath. Ultimately, it wasn't military radar that cut the fuse, but a phone call made 4 days earlier by a trembling mother in an ordinary Ohio home. Today, we'll take 20 minutes to walk you through this chilling attempted terrorist attack. How did this paramilitary plot involving 4 states, 12 FBI field offices, and 23 people actually develop? How did that mother find the clues? And what was she thinking when she finally called the police? Late on the night of June 10th in Danville, Ohio, a mother sat in a silent living room, her palms drenched in sweat. She had just burst into the room of her 19-year-old son, Tyson Prapper, and they faced off. For weeks, her son had been acting strange. He quit his job and spent all $3,000 of his graduation money on weapons: an AR-style rifle, a shotgun, body armor, a tactical vest, thousands of rounds, spare magazines, and camping gear. She didn't know when he developed these interests, and she'd seen him doing intense physical training at home more than once. At first, she thought he wanted to join the military or the police, but he never expressed any interest in that during their talks. The thing was, she'd overheard him several times talking to someone online in a low, secretive voice. Next weekend, her son was planning to go out and meet that person from online. She felt uneasy. Whenever she tried to talk to him, her son was tight-lipped and wouldn't say a word. She was getting more and more scared. Just now, she finally snapped and burst into his room, demanding to know what he was up to. Proper stared at her and said, "I can't give you the details. It's just recon, hit and run." His mother's heart sank. In an era of school shootings and political assassinations, she knew exactly what those words meant when paired with a room full of bullets. It's shoot, kill, and then get out. Looking at the child she raised herself, she thought of next weekend's White House gala and broke into a cold sweat. She went back to the living room and sat for 2 hours, but finally, with trembling hands, calling the police. The local sheriff's office and officers arrived quickly. Prapper was rushed to the hospital due to severe homicidal ideation. The next day, in a hospital room, facing FBI agents showing their badges, 19-year-old Prapper's mental defenses collapsed. He confessed to a massacre planned for the White House celebration in 3 days. It all started 3 months ago. In March of this year, 19-year-old Tyson Prapper came across a seemingly ordinary discussion group on TikTok called Vanguard of the Old. The group's slogan was "Protect America." It looked pretty good. Prapper didn't hesitate to click "Apply to join." Every day, the group was buzzing with discussions about current events in America. Why haven't the Epstein files been released yet? Why is America supporting Israel unconditionally? How deep does the government's corruption really go? At first, Prapper just watched from behind the screen. But he found the long posts from the group leader, the shepherd, had a kind of magic that always got his blood pumping. The shepherd said the country was rotten to the core, taken over by Wall Street, corrupt politicians, and the deep state. They'd stolen the rights that belonged to the people. Instead of slow reform, it's better to smash it with violence, burn it down, and let it be reborn from the ashes. This incited sense of justice and a phantom feeling of holiness made the obscure Prapper feel great. He felt proud to join them and was even eager to reshape the world together. By the way, does this demand sound familiar to any of you? Smash the old world with violence, eliminate the exploiting class and so-called foreign forces, and build a new world. The shepherd began to rank them in the group, dividing them into 4 tiers, just like an army. Because Proper was the most fanatical and willing, he was placed in Tier 1, the ground action team that would suit up with their own body armor and firearms. Tier 2 consisted of getaway drivers and drone operators. Tier 3 was responsible for logistics and supplies. Tier 4 was the financial backers and the influencers responsible for inciting hype. One day, a 32-year-old member from Missouri, Daniel Eskridge, boasted that this was the turning point in history. If we pull off something earth-shattering, the revolution begins. What counts as a big event? He continued typing. We need to find someone big, someone the whole country knows, and take them out. They set their sights on the White House double celebration on June 14th. Then a 32-year-old California member, Michael Thomas, did the math. $1,300 could get him a drone and explosives. Let's get the numbers together. We have to move fast. Almost at the same time, Shepard replied that he was working on drones and already had one. He sternly warned everyone that their targets couldn't just be ordinary people. They had to take out high-profile figures. Then, a list of assassination code names appeared on Proper's screen. Number 1, the FBI determined, likely refers to President Trump. Number 2 likely refers to Vice President Vance, and refers to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who was rumored to attend. The list also included Musk and Senator Tom Cotton, along with others they believed took pro-Israel political donations. Then Shepard pulled out a map with tactical markings and several purple dots. With the diagrams, the entire plan became clear to Proper. Step 1. Detonate the drones. Have the explosive-laden drones go off first on the north side of the arena. The goal wasn't to kill everyone instantly, but to cause a massive explosion and extreme panic, forcing high-value targets and the crowd to evacuate. Then someone in the group asked, "How much explosive should be on the drone?" Shepard replied, "As much as it can carry. The more lethal, the better." Step 2 is the ambush. As thousands of guests flee in terror, gunmen and snipers pre-positioned at those purple dots can open fire on the chaotic crowd and the targets locked by their code names. Step 3 is the evacuation. The map even clearly outlined their escape routes. They planned to escape quickly, under the cover of night, along the Potomac River trails after the hit. Shepard even prepared an old church in Nebraska as a safe house for them. Proper was completely radicalized. He began preparing frantically for this holy war. For next weekend's rally, he quit his job and withdrew every cent of the $3,000 his family gave him for graduation, spending it all on weapons, an AR rifle, a shotgun, body armor plates, a tactical vest, and thousands of rounds of ammo. He started doing sprints and push-ups in his room and living room, following group instructions for intense physical training. In the Signal chat, he saw that Thomas and Roa in California had even gone to a remote desert for live fire drills. Roa even posted a video of their tactical training on social media, while Thomas planned how they'd break someone out of jail if they got caught. Everything was ready and the bullets were chambered. Proper sat in a room full of weapons, waiting for the weekend of June 13th to depart. He thought he was about to become a hero who saved America, unaware that outside his door, his mother stood in the dark hallway, listening to everything through the crack. His mother's call to the local police ignited a multi-state relay race between law enforcement and death. The officers had only 96 hours left. Starting now, 12 FBI field offices and hundreds of agents nationwide began a relentless, high-stakes operation, pushing their physical and mental limits to the edge. Back at the scene, this massive operation, spanning thousands of miles, had to take down every single terrorist before they could manage to join forces. On June 11th, the Knox County Sheriff's Office quickly handed over the leads to the FBI. That afternoon, fully armed law enforcement officers stormed Proper's residence. Opening the door, they found scattered shell casings, targets riddled with holes, and tactical gear hidden away. The real breakthrough was in Proper's iPhone. The FBI pulled an encrypted Signal chat group from his phone, exposing the framework of the entire terrorist network for the first time. Robber himself admitted to participating in the attack planning during FBI questioning and identified other members of the group. It's worth noting that he told investigators he didn't intend to shoot, but others in the group would. Although this was his attempt to excuse himself, it also confirmed that this was a multi-person conspiracy for a terrorist attack. So, since it was a joint conspiracy, the FBI's lightning operation had to be synchronized across state lines. Because chat records showed this group of fanatics planned to head to Fredericksburg, Virginia on June 13th for a final assembly. The FBI had to catch them all before they could meet up. On Saturday, June 13th, in Missouri, 32-year-old Daniel Etridge, who boasted in the group about targeting someone big and famous and was responsible for funding, was arrested at his home in Kidd. Rifles, shotguns, and other firearms were found in the house. On Sunday the 14th, the morning of the White House UFC event in Omaha, Nebraska, the top commander hiding behind the screen, codenamed Shepard, finally met his retribution. How did the FBI track him down so quickly? FBI agents sent an emergency request for assistance to TikTok's official platform and tracked down his account. The platform provided an underlying IP address that pointed directly to his residence in Omaha. Shepard's true identity is 31-year-old Abraham Almosillo Alvarez. At almost the same time, 2 other key members in California were intercepted on an interstate highway. When 24-year-old Brian Roa was caught, his trunk was stuffed with firearms, tactical belts, and military radios. Facing FBI guns, he clumsily claimed he drove thousands of miles to Washington just to protest the UFC, denying any involvement in the murder plot. Another 32-year-old plotter in the group, Michael Thomas, who advocated for guerrilla warfare, executions, and prison breaks, admitted to his involvement the moment he was handcuffed. As handcuffs clicked in hidden corners across the country, the lights on the south lawn of the White House in Washington also came on. It was a historic spectacle, with over 80,000 fans packing the area around the presidential residence. A sea of red, white, and blue flags surged under the night sky, with dignitaries gathered below. Trump, who just turned 80, Vance, and Musk were in the front row chatting and laughing. Inside the octagon, the clash of muscles, the roar of heavy punches, and the tsunami-like cheers when Josh Hockett landed that stunning blow pushed the 250th anniversary celebration to its peak. But none of them knew that just a few hours earlier, several suicide drones and hidden snipers had been intercepted. They had just narrowly escaped death. It wasn't until late at night, as fireworks bloomed over the White House and the last spectator left safely, that the officials who knew finally breathed a sigh of relief. 2 days later, on Tuesday, June 16th, FBI Director Kash Patel issued a statement confirming that on the 10th, the FBI and law enforcement partners learned of a potential threat against the White House UFC event. A multi-state sting operation thwarted the planned attack. So far, 5 people have been formally charged. If convicted of conspiracy to murder, each faces up to life in prison and a $250,000 fine. But the FBI's investigation is far from over. Secret Service Deputy Director Cohen said this remains an active, ongoing investigation. There are still suspects at large. Investigators have now placed as many as 23 people on their watch list. Although this terrorist attack was ultimately foiled, it still leaves many huge question marks. First, is there a larger power behind this dark web? This group of young people, cobbled together online, created a terrorist plan that showed far more energy than any previous lone wolf operation. They had a clear political platform, 4 tight-knit echelons, and a detailed plan of action. The indictment reveals that at least 2 of the 5 arrested suspects were longtime participants in Bear's Claw, the largest military simulation airsoft event in the U.S. These so-called civilians had actually long mastered the small unit tactics of a regular army. A senior retired FBI agent interviewed by Fox News stated, after reading the indictment, technically their plan was completely feasible. If successfully executed, the consequences would be unthinkable. So, behind this seemingly random group of young people, is there an unseen mastermind and a real financial backer? On this question, I'd like to do a quick poll. Friends, if you think this was just a plan sparked by random young people, type a 1 for me. If you think there must be a larger power behind such a massive, multi-state, 23-person paramilitary operation, type a 2. Let's see what you all think. The second question is, this isn't like the lone wolf actions we've seen before, like the recent assassination attempt at the White House dinner. These people had no close interpersonal connections offline. Relying solely on pseudo-religious inflammatory rhetoric, they organized an ideological team across 4 states, moving from online keyboarding to multi-state recruitment, logistics, and weapon stockpiling. This kind of ad hoc terrorist cell, growing in the dark web and evolving into a paramilitary force, is likely a trend for future extremist groups. It's quite terrifying. And these young people can be radicalized into terrorists who carry out actual attacks in just 3 months. Just think about the extent to which American youth have been corrupted today. This situation is still unfolding. If you're interested, be sure to subscribe to Zhen Guandian. I'll be following up with the latest updates in my short videos. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to give me a thumbs up. New viewers, welcome to subscribe to Zhen Guandian. Please share my show with your friends and family. Every interaction is a huge encouragement and helps trigger YouTube's algorithm, allowing my hard work to reach more people. So I, Zhen Fei, would like to thank all of you in advance. All right, thanks for watching. That's it for today. We'll see you again at the same time this Saturday on Zhen Guandian. See you then.